I see how smart relief turns on.
What's up, guys? Sorry for the late announcement. I was doing some business dealings today. As you can actually see, this is now sponsored by ONNIT, Total Human Optimization. I've used Alpha Brain myself. I can tell you personally that it helps with memory recall, with concentration, and trust me, guys, I need it. And they need to send me some more right now because I am out, probably why I'm behind. See, if I had ONNIT, this show would have been over an hour ago. I'd have been done. So I heard of MMA Digest that Woodley isn't going to fight. He should be stripped of the belt for ducking the goat. I've heard some strange things in the works there for Woodley. Ben Askren almost got thrown in as a main event Tyron Woodley against Tyron Woodley for a UFC 233, and Tyron Woodley wasn't available for it. Ben Askren also said he would save UFC 233 by fighting whoever they wanted. They said they didn't care regardless. If Robbie Lawler wasn't ready, he said he would fight whoever, whenever. So, what is up, everybody? Looks like we don't have a lot of people in here yet for the trivia, but I guess they're going to lose out. Kyle, you may win. Recently, this is what we've got, though, up till now. Week number 1, Jason Azevedo. 1 with 1,900 points. Then the points started getting to be more and more. I started making these worth more as this goes on longer and more people came in. Trotty Dog, week 2. As you can see the winners here. The only one person has won 2 weeks ever. That's DG. DG won last week and episode 4. Oh, you can't see that because I don't have my display capture up. Now you can see that. Jason Azevedo, week number 1. Trotty Dog, week number 2. DG winning weeks 4 and 7. What's up, Dutch Guy? It has been a hell of a busy week, man, so I'm sorry if I haven't been in touch and gotten some things done that I wanted to get done. It's been absolutely hectic. You guys know those crazy weeks where you have somebody from district call somebody from your headquarters, call about you. So I had this recently. I won't go completely into detail, but I'm going a lot of detail because this really pissed me off. What's up, DG? Ain't gonna no Rumble without me. Daily, the Outsiders movie. My cell dying at 2% and no charger in sight. Oh shit, man! You are the only contestant to win 2 weeks up till now. So I'm gonna throw one question out there just to give you a shot before your cell phone dies. And then I'll go into my story. This is episode number 8, Bellator edition. So question number 1 is, this man formed Bellator in 2008 under a tournament style. Try to jump in later and save the world. All right, I'm giving it to you. Number 1, though, and the first 10 questions tonight are all going to be worth 1,000 points. The last question is worth 2,500, or 2,000 points. So this man formed Bellator in 2008 under a tournament style. Who was the founder and CEO of Bellator? Come on, DG. Anybody? 1,000 points. What's up, JT? It is not Scott Coker, DG. It is Rebney. You are correct, sir. So the reason I was scattering to get this done, believe it or not, I had a couple important business meetings today for the channel. As you can see, we've got one sponsor on board, ONNIT, Total Human Optimization. They are the official sponsor for Season 1 Fights with Friends MMA Trivia. I am talking to a sponsor for Season 2, which will start in January. But if you use that code in the description under ONNIT, Fights with Friends viewers, there are exclusive things that you will honestly only get as Fights with Friends viewers with that link. Free trials of Alpha Brain, free trials of Shroom Tech, free trials of all kinds of human optimization tools over there, and they're a great company. They do a lot of research, and you know, most of these supplement companies honestly are #1 bullshit. Honest the real deal. Scott, the bald dude, didn't people not like him? Yeah, it was Bjorn, it was Rebney, but 1,000 points to DG. Yeah, people did not like him a whole lot. Mo Lawal, after losing to Rampage Jackson, I believe it was Mo Lawal at a press conference, told Bjorn Remney to lick his balls or something like that. It was crazy. Now he considers himself an advocate for fighters. I'm not going to say too much bad about Bjorn. He got pushed out, but he had the tournament style that formed Bellator. And I liked that. It was really cool. I'm a big fan of Bjorn Remney, actually. And he may be coming on the show, so we're not going to say anything bad about him. All right, let's go into question number 2. It looks like we got a few people in here. Question number 2. Now, when I'm talking about this, I'm being very specific. Very specific. Bellator is owned by this parent company. I don't want the subsidiary company. I want the parent company, the actual owner. So not Spike TV, not MTV. Aaron True, it is Viacom. Thank you for coming in, Aaron. And you were definitely first this time, so all right, finally. Aaron True is on the board with 1,000 points. And he sent me some strange screenshots. Some of us were trying to figure out what was going on, that he was saying that he was first on some of these. He sent me some screenshots that on his screen, he was first before other people. I have not seen anything like it, but Dylan, I've never seen anything like Dylan with Google and YouTube. I was literally on the phone with YouTube trying to find, I finally got a phone number for him. I was on the phone with him for over an hour. Had to give up because I had to get ready for this show. But I was talking with ONNIT today. Like I said, they hooked us up with a whole bunch of stuff. Somebody's not sold on us, though. Somebody's not sold on us. And they will be, though. They're a great company, and they're trying to extinguish the pay-per-view model, and that is the Zone. We are working, I can say that because there's nothing, you know, there's nothing written that I can't, because I have not made a deal with them at this point. But we're trying to bring on the Zone as a sponsor, so hopefully there's a lot of love out there for those guys trying to get rid of the pay-per-view model, and hopefully we see it from the Fights with Friends family. I invited one of their top executives to watch our show tonight. I invited her to call in tonight, but she didn't respond to my email, so I don't know if she's watching or not. But if she is, hello. I won't throw her name out there. But let's get on to... Oh, let's go back to my story for just a second. So today, and you guys can relate to this. I'm sure you've had something like this. So today, I get a call. It was actually yesterday, but I'm still pissed about it today. I get a call from my boss, like my head boss, and he's telling me that corporate has gotten a call that one of the stores that I service is an absolute mess, that they went above him. They were so upset that I needed to get down there right now and clean up this store and go over and service this store. So I'm like, what in the hell? Why wouldn't this store manager call me? Why wouldn't, they go to my DL or whatever? But apparently I mean, this is all the way up to the top of the executive level. So I'm freaking out. I'm filling up my boat. I'm getting everything ready to get the hell out of there. I get everything loaded up. So I have backstock mixed with my load. I can picture this, the product I'm stocking for this store. I won't mention what stores and companies. But so I get everything done, and this takes a while to get this up. And then I get a call back. And I get a call back from my boss, and he says, don't worry. He says, it was the wrong store. He says, this executive called and yelled at me, and it was store number, I won't say the exact number, but let's say it was store number 950, and we were 956. It was something similar to that. So, about giving me a heart attack. I'm stress eating on the way, and it's not even me. So that just gave me a lot of motivation to, say, hey, I got to make this thing go, because 20 years of retail, I'm sick of dealing with crap like this. I am working with a good company right now, but yeah, that was very upsetting. Big Daddy up in this piece now. I'm glad I waited a little while. What's up? 700 Gabriel. He's got quite a few points on the board himself. Let's go to question number 3 with 700 Gabriel coming in here. Bellator took over for the UFC on Spike. It can now be seen on these 2 networks. Not actual net. I'm not talking about the Bellator app or Bellator.com. I want the 2 networks that now advertise Bellator. Paramount and DAZN. Is that a winner? You are correct, Aaron True. I don't know whatever happened. Whatever happened with your connection or whatever the problem was, obviously it was fixed. Aaron True in the lead now with 2,000 points. DG 1,000, Aaron True with 2,000. My phone autocorrect, damn, for DAZN. No, I got it. I think I had bad internet last time. Yeah, that was strange. Like I said, I've never seen anything like that. I understand why people doubted Aaron, but he sent me the screenshots. Stranger things have happened. Like I said, YouTube is... They're a great company. I'm not going to diss them because they do give me a great opportunity. But when you have billions and billions of people, I guess it's just... It's a tough business. What can I say? Maybe they need some ONNIT. They need some Alpha Brain. Maybe I need some New Mood. So I'm not so I can be a little more chill and not so upset about work. But like I said, after 20 years of retail, I spent 16 years with one grocery store. Then I spent 4 years with another. I'm a vendor in stores now, and it's a great company, but I'm just burnt out on dealing with the public. Congrats on ONNIT sponsorship. What's up, Zoltan? I have not seen you in forever. How are you, my friend? Thank you very much. I hope you guys hit that link. There are a bunch of free stuff for you guys in there. Nothing out of pocket. No, like, cancel after 30 days. You know, go through a bunch of crap to get this free trial or have to cancel some monthly subscription. Alpha Brain, New Mood, Shroom Tech. I'm hooking you guys up with all of it. There are tons of discounts, and they're taking care of me over here. It's not enough to quit my job yet, but if I had a lot of good sponsors like ONNIT, I wouldn't have to be breaking my back in a grocery store anymore. I'm glad you're doing good, Zoltan. It's been a while. Send a shout out to my girlfriend Jackie. What's up, Jackie? You have a fine man on your hands. Do not lose him. 700 Gabriel's a good dude. Sup, brother? What's up, Pulse? Wow. All right, Pulse. Was that Pulse Reloaded? I would go back to the old name, but who will win? Woodley pick Usman or Mr. McGuff? Who will Woodley pick? He's not fighting at UFC 233. I don't know if you've seen UFC 233 was canceled. Rumor was that they wanted Woodley to be the main event. He's undergoing hand surgery. He's had to have several surgeries. There's a lot of guys that go through this that don't talk about it. Go through a lot of surgeries, these fighters. They get beat up a lot. So I don't blame Woodley. I know Woodley has a lot of haters, but I do not blame him at all for trying to diversify himself outside of MMA. Nobody wants to get punched in the head for a living forever. What you guys think? I think it's going to end up being Colby. I don't see how you cannot have that match. If you're going between Colby, the Covington, as I call him, and Kimura, no one wants to see me fight Usman. I got to go with Colby. Just because everybody wants to see him because they want to see him get beat up. But at least they want to see him. What's up, John Murphy? This is my old name. I'm wearing my throwback. I would be careful out there with that one there, Pulse. I cannot endorse or say that, but I will continue to add your points to your old name. All right. Let's get into the next question on here. Number 4. All Bellators are numbered. This Bellator was the first Bellator pay-per-view. As a clue, the main event was canceled. The main fighter ended up still fighting. The original pay-per-view was scheduled for Bellator 106. It was canceled. Then the main event was canceled. You are close, but that is not correct. I believe that was their second one, Aaron True. I think what is happening is Woodley is just cleared to train, and Colby wants a month and a half. So Woodley is trying to say Colby is not ready and might take Usman, but then Colby will say he's dodging. 131. Tito Ortiz was one of the fighters on this one. I had to go back and just make sure and check a third source to make sure I was right. Because Aaron True has not been wrong yet. Silva versus the bad guy. Looking for a number here. Give you some clue. It was... So Michael Chandler was supposed to defend his belt against Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez stepped out. Somebody else stepped in. I'm pumped for Fedor versus Master Bader. And I'm glad UFC canceling competing card. You know, that was a bad night for them anyways. When I was looking at that, I was like, man, do I buy UFC and not cover Fedor? I'm like, I have to pick Bellator. For the first night ever, I was like, I have to pick Bellator. So I'm glad that those two are not competing with each other, that I don't have to worry about that. Talking about competing, Zoltan, as we're talking about this, ONE FC, which of course recently signed Demetrius Johnson in that trade, Sage Northcutt and Eddie Alvarez, as well as Sexyama on free agency. They just did a 3-year deal with Turner Broadcasting System. They're going to be on TBS, and their event, wait for it, is debuting on January 19th, the same night that UFC debuts on ESPN+. Absolutely crazy. I hope they're at different times, though. I cannot wait. We got TJ Dillashaw versus Henry Cejudo's on free TV now. Freaking awesome. Never missed a Fedor fight in 20 years. Yeah, Fedor's the man. I gotta say he's the best. I think he is the best heavyweight ever. Especially seeing him come back and fight the way he has in his later years. I think that just solidifies him right now. I don't think anybody has been great enough to surpass him. Cain Velasquez had too many injuries. He may have been able to become the GOAT, but he just didn't have enough fights. Heavyweight's just so hard. You can see Stipe Miocic. I mean, he broke the record, what, 3 defenses? And then it looked like he was going to continue and run through everybody for years. Gets knocked out by Daniel Cormier. Who the hell would have thought that? Just how good is Alpha Brain Mike? Alpha Brain it's very good. And I wouldn't tell you guys that if I didn't think it was. I've spoke about it way before ONNIT was a sponsor. And I got to tell you, I have adult ADHD, and the doctors had me on Ritalin. It is the generic version of Ritalin, is methylphenidate. It's literally meth. What they put in these ADHD medicines is literally meth. And this has helped me to get off of this dangerous drug and go on to a natural nootropic that helps your recall memory. It helps your concentration. I really can't survive without it. It's very, very hard. You can tell the difference. I've done broadcasts with or without Alpha Brain, and it's a nightmare. It's literally a night and day difference. So I would say it is definitely very good. Did you see that? I did not see that. I seen there was something out about. Who cares? I mean, when women's sex tapes come out, I don't watch them, but I can see why people care. I mean, people have already seen Randy Couture out there and everything, but his skivvies. What more do you need to see? Why do you need to see the man having sex? It's ridiculous. The world we live in, man. Hell yeah, congrats on the sponsor. Well, thank you. Gus versus Coke Bones Jones. Whose wins that one? Jones might be slower now, I think. I've heard a lot of people give their opinions and narratives on this, and a lot of them make sense, but we're not going to know until John Jones gets into the cage. So a lot of people say that he didn't train for the first Gus fight, that they think that he's going to walk over Gus. I was talking to a guy I work with that's also been into fights and MMA, the only guy in the Seattle area besides me and JT. Now, it seems like it sometimes. Sorry, these blue mics, they are great, but the wire is a pain in the ass. I need to get that taken care of. I'm just going to put that off. off camera. Hopefully, if you guys can't hear me well, let me know. But I'm going to put that off camera. So just forget that ever happened. Jones has so much to deal with during this camp. Absolutely. I watched two. Oh my God! I refuse to go search Randy Sexton. I hear you. You probably. Oh God. Jones in recent interview thought it was 2012. No joke. What? Yeah. Their first fight, I think, was 2012. Oh, that's crazy. It was a long time ago that those two fought. Like I said, a lot of people think that John Jones will walk through Gus. I don't see it going that way. That's a really hard one to call. I mean, Gus, honestly, Gus could go in there and dominate him. If John Jones comes back like the last time he came back, in that lackluster performance, Alexander Gustafsson's going to destroy him. Now, if he comes back like he did in the second Daniel Cormier match, Alexander Gustafsson's in a lot of trouble. So I think we have a good idea of what Alexander Gustafsson we're going to get. He looked good in his last outing. We have no idea what kind of John Jones we're going to get. So let's go to the next question here, though. Oh, nobody got the last question. Did anybody ever get it? I just realized that nobody got the last question. Did anybody have the answer for that? I'm going to go ahead and skip on. All Bellators are numbered. This Bellator was the first pay-per-view. Now that everybody's in, what was the number of the Bellator the first time they went pay-per-view? Yes, Evan. All Bellators are numbered. This Bellator was the first Bellator pay-per-view. I'm just going to give a few more seconds for that one because I left that one up there for a minute. All right. Nobody gets that one. 120. Bellator, the first pay-per-view was 120. It was supposed to be 106. It was canceled. 120 was supposed to be Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez 3. Eddie Alvarez was not able to fight on that one. Michael Chandler ended up taking on Will Brooks. We all know how that went. Will Brooks ended up upsetting him. The main event ended up becoming Rampage Jackson versus King Molal, and it actually sold about 100,000 buys, more than some of the recent UFC pay-per-views. The worst one recently, the worst pay-per-view was the Nunez. I think it was the Nunez Raquel Pennington won 80,000. That sold less, so you're not beating what ESPN's paying you per event if you're selling 80,000 pay-per-view buys. What's up, Derek Robert? Dana White versus De La Hoya. Oscar says he's going to continue to go with this. So 40,000 buys. I told Oscar, I got on here. I told Golden Boy Promotions. I told Fight TV. I told all these guys, I said, you got to have a Black Friday sale. You got to have this at $19.99. You're not going to sell this at $40. You're going to go in the hole. People actually criticize me on here for not being an advocate for fighter pay, which I took highly offensive because I think I've always been one of the biggest advocates for fighter pay. Talk about making me fighting mad. I mean, I was pissed. I don't get upset by too many comments. Somebody told me that, that I didn't want to see the fighters get paid because I wanted to see a Black Friday sale. No, I know this sport. Oscar De La Hoya has not learned this yet. That was not a $40 pay-per-view. You don't come out of the gate with a 43 and a 49-year-old man and a group of prelims of fighters that nobody knows who the hell they are and expect to get $40 a pop when everybody's Christmas shopping. You're on crack. but people love Black Friday sales. And then they go out and announce that they're going to have this Black Friday sale for 2 hours, the $20 sale, and then they end up canceling it. The whole thing was not good. It was a huge debacle. Oscar De La Hoya says he's going to continue in the MMA pay-per-view, or excuse me, in the MMA business. He says he's getting out of pay-per-view though. So I think he's trying to talk DAZN into doing something with MMA, I imagine. DAZN, I would not go there. What you're doing right now with Combate Americas, that's on Friday. I won't be covering it because of the Bellator, but that is a very good organization. That's where I'd go with that. Oscar, maybe if he wants to promote something, go over and help those guys. They're doing a great job. Yes, perfect. MMA rules. It was a terrible fight as well. I mean, I don't want to bag on Oscar a lot because he's done a lot for fighters' pay as far as boxers, but you got to know these guys' names. I mean, you got your head fighter, your guy that's in the co-main event, and Oscar has to look at his name tag, visibly look at his name tag, and read it, because he didn't know who the hell the guy was. And you can't do that. You're running an event, and you don't know who's... How do you expect anybody else to know who's in your co-main event if you don't know who's in your co-main event? That's absolutely preposterous. All right, so nobody got number 4, 120. Let's go on to number 5. This one should be a pretty easy. What does Bellator mean? It means something in Latin. What does it mean? Why did they pick that name? What's up, comedic genius? You were late to the party, my friend, but better late than never. We're just getting into this one. Gladiator, or warrior? Cassandra, the Spanish expert. What? So Bellator, when translated in Latin, warrior, gladiator, would that be similar?
I don't know. That's not... Latin is not Spanish.
I'm going to give that one to comedic... We're going to give that one to comedic genius. Gladiator or warrior. That is... All right, it means the war. Tag team MMA fight, De La Hoya versus Tito Ortiz versus Dana White and Trump. What's up, Derek Robert? That's what Bellator claims it means. That's why they say that's why they picked it, and that's what I was able to come up with online. I'm gonna go ahead and give that one to comedic genius. He needs some love. He's in here all the time. What's up, Jeremy Swan? I do take ONNIT. I love Alpha Brain. They're sending me some other stuff. I'm really looking forward to trying out Shroom Tech. Maybe kind of chill me out a little bit. Maybe not, because I like the fact that I get so excited for fighting and things, but maybe I could chill out just a little bit. No, ONNIT's great for concentration, memory recall, and honestly, my memory is not great. And when I'm trying to recall these facts and fighters and all these different things, I mean, you see Joe Rogan, he's constantly slipping up, forgetting fighters' names and things. There's over 500 fighters just in the UFC right now. Nootropics are a must for me to get through work, to get through 40, 50 hours a week at work, and then to get through this. It's like the mental part of an energy drink. Think about, the best focus you've gotten from an energy drink without the jitteriness, without the rapid heartbeat, and then increase that. Increase the concentration, the memory. It's just like going in the zone mentally. Why calm down? Be you, man. I hear you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I thought it was like Spartan or something. It is close, yeah. Kane is coming back to fight Fedor. What was Kane hinting at in the recent video? I'm not sure. That would be interesting to see him sign with somebody. I think he still has fights on his UFC contract, though. I'm pretty sure he still has 2 fights left on his UFC contract. Viacom owns Bellator. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's one of the things also that I get so upset. I guess I shouldn't get upset because I shouldn't expect everybody to know everything. But I've heard people saying, "Oh, why isn't the UFC paying their fighters more?" And I'll say, "Well, Bellator, pays people as little as $1,000. UFC at least has a minimum of $10,000, even if you lose." And people are like, "Well, Bellator is, they're a startup organization. They're not where the UFC is." It's like Viacom's a multi-billion-dollar organization. Pay your damn fighters. Yeah, if you want a good business, invest in a business. I'm a gas station boner pill guy myself. All right there, John Jones. I think Kane's last win was last on contract. Not sure. I could be wrong also, Zoltan. I obviously have been in the past. I am not 100% sure on that, so do not quote me on that. If I am 100% sure, usually I will say, and I will check some facts, but I could be wrong. Kane could be done with his contract. If someone wants to verify that, that would be great. But don't verify it right now because I'm going to go to question number 6. Tito Ortiz beat this Bellator champion at Bellator's first pay-per-view. Tito Ortiz beat this Bellator champion in Bellator's first pay-per-view. Was not Tito Jackson, no. But they can have sponsors in Bellator. Yes, that is great. I like that they can have sponsors. Reebok has been paying some of these guys some decent money that have been around for a while, and I do like that Reebok's pay, their sponsor pay is Alexander Russian guy. Shevchenko, that is close enough. 7. 7 gets it. Alexander Shevchenko, 1,000 points on the board for 7. So far we have DG with 1,000, Aaron True with 2,000, Comedic Genius with 1,000, 7 with 1,000. I'm going slow today, but I was waiting for people to get in. I think 5 is a little bit of an early start time sometimes, but I just like the sound of live at 5, so it continues to live on. I got Bader winning. Love Fedor though. What about you guys? That's tough, man. That's a tough one for Fedor at this age, but it's hard to doubt him, man. It's hard to doubt him. What do you think about Frank Mir's fighting tomorrow night? Tomorrow, 6 p.m. I'll be live for the Bellator card. And, yeah, Frank Mir's coming back. Of course, Michael Chandler will be fighting Brent Premise, the rematch to try to get, that belt back. Big Brown made more sponsors than his actual fight. I've heard of a lot of fighters saying that, yeah, I reached that 1,000 mark. Ha. Yeah, $1,000 is not good for a fight though for Bellator. It's like you pay these guys. The average training camp I was looking for these fighters is anywhere between $2,000 to $8,000. And that's obviously that's not including food. I know you got to eat anyways, but these guys have to be optimized nutrition wise. And UFC, I've said a lot of things about Dana White that aren't good, but they'll give these guys the supplements. You go to the UFC Institute, they'll give these guys supplements. They will send them supplements. There's supplement companies that will send basically any of the 500 some fighters on the UFC roster. They will give them free supplements. So no excuses. And ONNIT's giving a lot of these guys supplements. Like I was talking about earlier, Alpha Brain. Make sure you check out Alpha Brain. Make sure you check out that link in my description. ONNIT now the official sponsor of Fights with Friends MMA Trivia. And like I said, it'd be hard to do this without my Alpha Brain. I'm not going to say I couldn't do it, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps my commentating too. Let's go to the next one here. Bellator 200 London. What was the main event? What was the main event at Bellator 200, the first time they went to London? I believe it was the first fight, the debut of a huge UFC signing. I believe this was his first fight in there. It was not Paige Cyborg. Comedic genius. Michael Page did fight on that card, though. What was the main event for Bellator 200? Breaking news, McGregor investigated for rape. Not a lie. Big Irish unknown superstar, longtime girlfriend. It's effing oh, wow, RS. That is crazy. All right, I got to look into that. All right, let's see what we can bring up on that. Breaking news, it looks like in here from RS. Phil Davis versus some poor nobody. It was not Phil Davis. It was another former UFC fighter. We're hearing... Famous Irish sports star investigated for alleged rape of woman in Dublin hotel. This from the Irish Mirror, and they're not saying who this famous person is. Looks like Sherdog's got something in a forum. I'm not seeing what's your site, RS? I'm pretty picky about my sites. Gayguard versus someone says 7. Jeremy Swan, no, it is not Bader. Come on, 7. You got some of it. Famous Irish sports star allegedly raped woman in Dublin hotel was on 2-day bender. Damn, Derek Robert. Yeah, I read that. If it was Conor McGregor, though, why wouldn't they just say Conor McGregor? So, I don't know. I don't know. Here's a question. It says, A&G Productions, did Conor McGregor rape and assault that 20-year-old Dublin girl? I would say right now, I don't see enough information out there right now to report either way on that, but thank you for the update on that. I'm definitely going to be doing some research on that. It was not Benson Henderson. Come on, you had half of it, 7. Have you guys heard it? I only heard it right now. All right, 7. 7's got half of it. I'm going to give you 500 on 7 if somebody doesn't get it here in a minute. I'm going to give you half of the point, 7. This has been a hard one. This shows you how little we actually know about Bellator, though. Have you guys heard it? I only heard it right now. I hadn't heard anything about it. The Rangers goalkeeper Alan McGregor will not face charges following allegations of sexual assault on the woman, prosecutor said today, 2010. I didn't see that. I see a bunch of stuff come up on Irish Star, though, so, I mean, I don't know. People are constantly putting clickbait items out there or recycling different articles. Mark Hunt wants winner of Fader Bader. TPO retirement. Everybody in Ireland is talking about it. Damn. Well, I'm definitely going to be looking into that one. Okay, so I'm giving 7.5 of that. It was Gegard Mousasi versus Rafael Carvalho. And when Gegard Mousasi won the belt at Bellator 200. So 7 gets 500 points for that one. Aaron True still in the lead with 2,000 points. Somebody's going to have to knock him off. These are harder than I thought they were going to be for people. Like I said, the last question out of 11 will be 2,000. Connor has babies all over the world. Huge nuts. You know, he's hinted at a lot of things. He's never hinted at anything. I mean, obviously, like what RS was talking about, or even about infidelity. But he says, you know, I'm a wild man. He goes, I'm a wild man. He goes, I can't tell you that I'm not going to get in trouble. He says, I get in trouble, and I'm going to get in trouble. He says, I'm a young, rich man that's worshipped by thousands and millions of people. And I got to imagine he has a lot of similar moments to what Mike Tyson and John Jones have went through. It's hard to be that big and still be level-headed. It's very, very hard. That's why McNuggets sperm sells for 10 figures an ounce. Oh, wouldn't that be one rich woman? Wouldn't that be one rich woman if they had a kid with them? And that's just considered consensual. I don't even like to say the word out there on something that I know absolutely nothing about that we had mentioned, because I would never want to put that on somebody when I don't know what I'm talking about. Next question, though, number 8. What year did Bellator start? When Bellator first started, it was not even on television. But what year did it first start? This one for 1,000. This one probably should have been for 2,000, because being that it wasn't even televised. Was not televised until April of 2009. 700 AD. Comedic genius with the win. No. 2007, you were very close, Zoltan. Jeremy Swan, 2008. I think that might have been by process of elimination. 2008, Bjorn Rebney founded Bellator. Jeremy Swan, that is correct. Congratulations, sir. Still tonight, no one's gotten more than one question outside of Aaron True. Aaron True still in the lead with 2 right, and only one person has won 2 weeks for that trophy. So everybody is still in this going into the 8th week. Last week, DG was the first person to win 2 weeks of trivia. And hopefully I'm a little bit better at this the second season. This is a little clunky for me this season, but I'm learning. So thank you for your guys' patience. But yeah, I don't even. Who knows if Connor's even gonna fight again? John Kavanaugh said that it would take a lot for Conor McGregor to convince him to train him again. Seems to be some beef between those guys. Conor came out with something on Twitter saying, sometimes if you believe in yourself, you just have to go it alone. Kind of cryptic. So I don't know what I don't know what the deal is on that. I really want to see him fight Dustin Poirier, though. I really want to see that second fight between those guys. I think that's a great one. All right, next question is, who is the current Bellator lightweight champion? Conor loses one more fight. He's on less pay than Gunner. I don't know about that. I highly doubt it. Like they said, they could do Conor versus Nate 3 anytime, and I agree with that. They can do it anytime. Brent Primus, you are correct, 7. It's actually pronounced Primus. Chael Sonnen corrected me here recently. I thought that it is not Chandler. Chandler lost his championship to Brent Primus. He had kind of a freak accident, combination of freak accident and combination of Brent Primus just throwing some really good leg kicks to the back of the ankle of Michael Chandler. Broke his ankle in the middle of a fight, and it was very strange. Michael Chandler started trying to walk, and he couldn't put any weight on his right hand, or excuse me, his right foot. His foot kept on going wonky. I mean, it was almost like Anderson Silva-esque, like where Anderson's leg bent. I mean, that's what Michael Chandler's ankle did. It was pretty crazy. Who you got winning that fight? I got Chandler. I think Chandler adjusts. Chandler's fought twice since then. He says Brent Primus is a part-time fighter. I agree with him. Bellator doing great this year, so following it more. I hope they do well. I really do. I hope they do well. So 7, you got 1,500 points now because he gave you the 500 earlier. So in second place, 1,500 points. Aaron True with 2,000 in the lead. I got Chandler. He's got Askren and Woodley. Yeah. I wish those guys would fight. If those guys will most likely not fight each other, though, because they're training partner. Oh, because he's training with them, yeah. Both training. I got you. Chandler, that guy, he's very mentally tough. He's got to adjust to that leg kick. I was watching the old fight. It is not on YouTube. Or if it is, it's very hard to find on YouTube. And I found out why the fight is so hard to find is when I Googled it to find it, Bellator's actually tagged it underneath another fight. They accidentally mistagged the fight. So it took a lot of research for me to find it, to be able to watch it. But Primus lands about 5 or 6 really good leg kicks to the back of the ankle. And when it looks like Chandler's gets kicked in the chest and kind of falls off balance and hurt his ankle then. But he had been kicked several times really good in the back of the ankle before that. So it was hard to tell for sure when the injury happened. Those leg kicks were definitely hurting Chandler, though. It wasn't broken. It was deep nerve trauma or something. Same thing happened in Cejudo and Mighty Mouse fight in the first round. You're right. I was listening to that today, actually. You're right. Chael Sonnen was talking about it, actually. It was a nerve like when your foot falls asleep. I had thought it was a broken ankle at first, and it was your foot falling asleep. Chael Sonnen should have set me straight on that one, but I forgot. It's getting kind of sad. Askren calling out everyone, now asking for interim shot to skip everyone. Like, get a fight, dude. Haha, I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of his too, yeah, but it's like, don't lay it on too thick. Don't lay it on too thick before you get in there. You got to get past Robbie Lawler first. That's certainly no easy task. RS, I can't believe the woman was beaten up. The police think it's credible rape and assault. Man, I can't believe it. Right? And then UFC 223 canceled. What? Yeah, it's crazy week, crazy stuff going on in MMA. ONE FC coming to the United States, debuting on the same day as the UFC. Signing with Turner Broadcasting System. Canelo Alvarez fighting on DAZN. That's Saturday. So for Friday, tomorrow, I'm doing Bellator starting at 6. Saturday is going to be a really long day for us because it's going to be the last UFC on Fox. So I'm going to start streaming at 4:30. The main card starts at 5. Should get over just in time for the main event over on DAZN. Canelo Alvarez taking on Rocky Fielding for the super middleweight champion. He's actually going up a weight class to challenge the WBA super welterweight champion. His last fight was $85. This one's free if you got DAZN. So I said they didn't give me the sponsorship deal yet that I talked to them about today, but I'm still talking good about them because they're trying to get rid of the pay-per-view model. So props to DAZN. I am a subscriber. All right, we are down to the end here. This is 2,000. This one is worth 2,000 points. So unless DG or 7 gets this, we'll be going to overtime for the first time ever. There will be a tie. The first station to ever cover Bellator, the first televised event, was from April 3rd, 2009. It was televised in the U.S. on a 1-day taped delay. Schaub calls Dana a moron for booking. It was not Spike 7. Not Spike TV. Spike TV, believe it or not, came later. For booking Super Hani Ostovich, same card as Mel Fighter in separate abuse case. Yet Schaub is a moron because they sent contracts out before Ostovich abuse even happened. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. I mean, that's unfortunate. It made me look more into HDTV or VT. No, that is incorrect. Comedic Genius. I don't know that anybody will get this one. But it made me look more into that Hardy case, the Greg Hardy case. And I keep calling him Dan Hardy because of Dan Hardy, the fighter, all the time. And I need to stop doing that. Dan Hardy's going to find me and knock me out because he probably doesn't want to be compared to this guy. I looked more into that case with the Greg Hardy thing, and there was some pictures and the allegations and everything from that former girlfriend. I mean, it was not pretty. This guy did some horrible shit. It was not MDV2. It was not NBC Sports. Thank you, 7. Watch it be Dylan Dennis or some shit. That would not surprise me. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It was not BET. That would be hilarious, though. What's the question? What's up, John Losacero? You could come in and tie everyone right now. This one's worth 2,000 points. First station ever to cover Bellator. Their first televised event was from April 3rd, 2019. It was played in the United States on tape delay. 24 hours late, about 24 hours later. Mike, you got to get in the Connor thing fast. This is big in Ireland right now. This is going to blow up fast in the world. What job, John Lucero? I got to look that up. We got to finish this, I guess. I got to give everybody some time to get this, though. A little bit of time. Otherwise, Aaron True is going to be this week's winner. And tomorrow, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We will definitely do some very quick trivia before the Bellator event. Bellator main card starts at 7 p.m. I'll start at 6, kind of casually cover the prelims. I should be able to watch the prelims if they work on DAZN. And then we'll do some trivia as we go through that from 6 to 7. And then 7 o'clock, the main event, main card starts. It's actually a pretty good card. Like I said, Michael Chandler versus Brent Primus. Frank Mir returns. John Lucero, it is ESPN, believe it or not. John Lucero with the tie, ESPN Deportes. But I'm going to give you that one. So, UFC's been trying to get on ESPN for how long? And Bellator actually did it almost 10 years ago. John Lucero, 2,000-point question. And we've got to go to a tiebreaker. We have to go to a tiebreaker. And this is going to be, oh, crazy. CNN, oh, this is UFC star Conor McGregor charged with assault. That's not Conor McGregor rape. So I don't see, I still don't see anybody that I recognize super credible. Comedic Genius, HBO After Dark. Cool. All right. We're going to go to the world. We are going to go to the world of boxing for our tiebreaker. So, Guardian is on it, Mike. Is Guardian considered a reputable source now? I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to go to the world of boxing. We're going to go to somebody that fought on Boxing After Dark for a long time, which sadly just had their last show. Roy Jones Jr., his very first loss, and he was defending his title. Who was his very first loss to? This is the tiebreaker. This is for 1,000 points. So, actually, it's for 1,000 points. So, John Lucero, Aaron True, or 7 could get this. This would get 7. This would give you 2,500 points. And somebody else could tie that has 1,000 already and send this to another tiebreaker. So, what the hell am I doing here? We need playoffs. But I don't know how to get it to where only 2 people can answer. Who was Roy Jones Jr.'s first loss as a professional? Anybody? John Lucero, you are the big winner this week, sir. Montel Griffin. I remember that as a kid. Well, I was in high school when it happened. I was so pissed because Montel Griffin, yes, he was down on a knee. Roy hit him. Montel Griffin faked like he was knocked out. Roy Jones lost the title by disqualification. Went into that bout, I believe it was 47-0, became 47-1 after that fight. And the rematch actually happened when I was in basic training in the Air Force. And I wasn't able to watch it on pay-per-view. And literally, this is how big of a retard I am when it comes to fighting. People say they're a big fight fan. The first call I made from basic training was not to call my parents, was not to call anybody, and it was to call my Uncle Joe to ask him who won the Roy Jones Jr. versus Montel Griffin rematch. Of course, Roy Jones Jr. destroyed him in the first round, but that was literally my first call from basic training. I had just turned 19 years old. Well, no, I was trying to think. I was not quite 19. I was a few months away. I was a few months from 19. My first call was to my Uncle Joe to ask him who won that fight. Wait, what? You were in the Air Force? Yes, I was. I trained for pararescue troop. I don't talk about this too much because I don't want to take credit away from people that really served. I went through basic training. I went through tech school for pararescue trooper. And of course, like I said, I went in when I was 18, and when I was 19 years old, I went all the way through the training for pararescue trooper. And then they had not caught that I had basically zero depth perception, or very close to zero depth perception. I have a blind spot in my left eye, and that's really bad for fighters too. So people could loop hooks around on me if they knew about that. And it wasn't until just a few years ago that I found in an X-ray that I actually have a freckle on that eye. But my depth perception was off enough that they said that I could not do that job. And they offered to send me through another tech school and let me choose another profession. At the time, I was 19 years old. And they also gave me the option to just walk. And I was frustrated. I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I had an offer from some friends. From a friend's uncle to go work for Shell Oil Company on some oil rigs, and I'm like, I'm moving to California. Do you know? Well, like I said, Zoltan, I didn't serve, so I'm not. That's just the truth. But thank you. Do you know paramedic stuff? I know some a little bit. I know how to stop a bleeding. I was able to use something actually that I learned in the Air Force when a guy cut himself with a box knife very bad. He actually cut his wrist this direction. It's pretty horrible. A customer scared him. This guy was a little jittery anyway. He's kind of like me. No. And this customer, we were working graveyard, got behind him and tapped him and I guess kind of yelled loud in his ear. So, and he jerked and slipped his box knife all the way down his wrist. And I took my shirt off immediately, cut it in half, and made a tourniquet and wrapped it up. And we took him into the hospital. And literally, I was freaking out so much. I literally walked in holding his arm. I have no shirt on, covered in blood. So they weren't sure who was even hurt. But they're like, who the hell is this psycho? But I thought the guy was going to die on me. I mean, he's shooting blood out of his artery, from his vein. He could have died. We're at very different stations in life at the time of Jones-Griffin rematch. You're just saying that so that if there's a fight, guy will throw hooks and you step in with crisp straights. Exactly, John. Exactly. No, I never let on to anybody. The only people that knew about my blind spot before this broadcast was my wife, my kids, and my parents. It's the only people I ever told in my life. Because I didn't want to ever get in a situation or a fight. I'm 40 years old now. I'm probably not going to be fighting, so it's out there now. Yeah, I got a blind spot. So, all right, I'm going to go and wrap this up. Thank you guys very much, though. But actually, let's go into the Bellator card real quick for tomorrow, since that's what we're covering. And for once, it is Bellator week. Congratulations, John Lucero, for winning week number 8 Nobody's won over 1 week until last week. DG has week number 2, but everyone is very, very much in this thing. That's what I like about that so much. 8 weeks, and like I said, 7 different winners. This could not have gone better. It's definitely going to get very competitive here towards the end of the first season of MMA Trivia. Don't forget, this season of MMA Trivia sponsored by ONNIT. Make sure and follow that link. I kid you guys not, they have some cool shit over there for you at ONNIT. They have some free stuff for you. Free Alpha Brain, free Shroom Tech, free. No. No, they have just a bunch of free stuff for you over there, though. All right. This is the main card. Brent Primus versus Michael Chandler. Of course, like I had already mentioned, Frank Mir comes back against Javi Ayala. Hey, thank you, John Locicero. Look into the Connor thing. It's real. It's no BS. I'm continuing to look for updates, RS. Thank you. If you want to email me anything at fightswithfriends@gmail.com that I might have missed, RS, feel free to. Or any of the rest of you, too. Well, thank you, John. I enjoy having you on here. I enjoy everyone coming in. Frank Mir versus Javi Ayala. Frank Mir I think that's a good comeback fight for Frank Mir. I think Javi Ayala, he's a tough journeyman, but he's just that. He's kind of a gatekeeper. AJ McKee, undefeated prospect. This guy could be the top 145-pounder in Bellator. Definitely a possible future champion. He's taken on Daniel Crawford at 10-2. I think that's a good stepping stone to bring him along just a little further. This might be fight of the night. This is a sleeper right here. Derek Campos versus Sam Cecilia. Both those guys are tough as hell. That's going to be a great one. Alejandro Lara versus Juliana Velazquez is the women's flyweight feature fight. Juliana Velazquez is 7-0. She's got some sick jiu-jitsu. Alejandra Lara, if you don't know who she is, out of Colombia. She is a tough lady. But this one, for the lightweight world title, Brent Primus and Michael Chandler, there's some really bad blood coming into that. Michael Chandler came out with that Purge promo video. If you guys haven't checked it out, check it out on my channel. I will try. Geez, Mir's only 18-12. Yeah, seems like he's been fighting forever, right? That's the thing with heavyweights. And he had that motorcycle accident where he was out for 3 years, though. Frank Mir, wow. Yeah, he has been fighting forever against Andrei Arlovsky. 3 times against Arlovsky, I believe? 3 times? 2 or 3 times against Tim Sylvia. I mean, the guy has had such a long career. Now he's fought Fedor. That didn't last too long, but he can say he fought him. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe he's only had 30 fights, actually, though. But, that's the thing with heavyweights. Those guys don't mess around. And at that level, it's absolute insanity. But like I said, yeah, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific, I'm going to schedule the stream as soon as I do maybe one more video. So I'm not going to schedule it until I do another video. That really screwed up something with the logistics on YouTube last time and hurt my ranking on the Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega pay-per-view. So I learned a lesson not to schedule that too early. But check out that promo Michael Chandler put together if you haven't seen it yet. I thought it was pretty cool. I can also see how some people said it looked kind of cheesy. I was kind of cheesy, but the production value is there. Obviously, Chandler's not a professional actor, but I liked it. I'd like to see more things like that. Mike, do you think Connor did? I have no idea, man, RS. I have to look into this. I'm literally, I'm not going to say anything because I do not know anything. So I'm going to look into it further. If I found out anything of substance, though, I will definitely put up a video tonight. So look out for that, guys. Make sure your notifications are turned on. Make sure and hit that like button. If you are new here, I think it's all regulars in here. But if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. You guys know I do UFC, Bellator, boxing, fight companions, live reactions. Now this new MMA trivia show I'm having a lot of fun with. And I hope to see everybody at 6 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Like I said, Bellator then, and then Friday, after Friday, Saturday, we'll start at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, half an hour before the start of the last Fox card. UFC on Fox, Kevin Lee versus Ally Quinta. And then straight after that, the main event, Canelo Alvarez and Rocky Fielding are scheduled to be walking down to the ring about 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. So that should time out perfectly. We should be able to do, of course, Bellator tomorrow, and then the last UFC on Fox and the Canelo Alvarez fight. What a great weekend it should be. He called him out. How's that fence you're sitting on? Oh, did you see Bisping on Rogan? Oh, I did see Bisping on Rogan. Before we get off of that, I will say something interesting, and I've heard this from other fighters in the past, and I've heard it from two former UFC fighters, and I'm not going to throw their names out there, but I am fairly close to these guys. Michael Bisping said everybody's on steroids, and basically these two guys confirmed everybody. They said everybody is on something. And this guy was telling me, because I was speaking to a fighter. I said, I'm not going to say who it is. But he was telling me, about TRT and about some other stuff. And I was like, you've done TRT? And he's like, man, everybody's on TRT. He's like, everybody's on steroids. He says, literally, except for the Bisping, or except for the Diaz brothers, everybody's on steroids. That's what he told me. We were out having some pizza and beer. Cain Velasquez versus Francis Ngannou targeted for UFC on ESPN main event in Phoenix. I'm going to have to look into that too. That sounds crazy. That would be absolutely nuts. You too, John. Are those guys in the UFC? They used to be in the UFC. I'm not going to go into detail, RS. I don't want to divulge any of my resources. But they have fought in the UFC in the past. That's all I will say. Until next time, as always, I love you, I respect you, and I'll see you fine asses later.